Forgot my wallet. Alright, let's go. What? The Gold Wing? Alright. Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. No, I did not trade in my 2018 Harley Davidson Heritage 114. In all reality, guys, this bike actually is a bike from American Bike and Trike. So, no, I'm not really sponsored by American Bike and Trike. But one thing about growing a YouTube channel is, you're not entitled to any of this stuff. These relationships they're great to have, and I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity. So I saw this bike actually sitting in American Bike and Trike shop, and I asked him, and he said, no, it's actually one that I'm going to convert and throw into, throw it up for sale. So I asked him, I said, would you mind if I grabbed that and took it for a couple days and tried out the Gold Wing? I've never ridden a Gold Wing before. And he said, sure. So that's why I have this bike, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to take it out and take it for a spin, see what it's like for a couple days. And I have got to say, I'm pretty impressed with this Gold Wing. One thing I will show you real quick: most people will not play music because they're afraid of copyright strikes. First of all, I'll raise up the windscreen here, which immediately takes away any of the wind buffeting. I do have some music on here, which one thing I can tell you is at highway speeds, that music is not super loud. If I were to buy a Gold Wing, I would recommend an audio upgrade if you're going to play anything at any sort of speeds. But aside from that, this interface is awesome. Now, I'm not going to get real crazy into the interface as far as like the built-in GPS and all that, because to me, Apple CarPlay is where it's at. And I just personally am a huge fan of that. You can kind of go through this stuff and pull up maps and do all that stuff, which is pretty cool. It's an easy interface to navigate, which is very nice. And that's pretty awesome. I mean, I'm a huge Apple CarPlay fan, and even better, you'll see when I pull into my driveway that I can basically send a command right from the bike here to open my garage door. Come over here, hit the button, open the garage door, and bam, there it goes. That is a really nice feature in and of itself that makes those types of electronics a very nice thing to have through Apple, which is pretty nice. I just wanted to kind of get this bike out and feel what the hype was about a Gold Wing, because I've never heard of anybody grabbing a Gold Wing and complaining about it. So getting it up on the highway here, it's got quite a bit of pep to it. This is not a 2020. This is a 2018. It has 5,601 miles on it. So this bike will be getting converted into a trike. And I will go out and do a review of this after it is triked, because I think it'll be pretty cool. The trike kits actually look really cool on these Gold Wings. So when I went and picked this bike up, I wasn't sure exactly what I would expect from a Gold Wing. I definitely expected it to feel much heavier than what it is. This bike is in the mid 800 pound range, and my Heritage is 100 pounds lighter than that. But what I have to say is that weight wise, this bike doesn't feel any heavier than my Heritage at all, to be totally honest with you. Where I do feel it is trying to back it up, but it has reverse on it. Neutral, reverse, hit the backup button, and we are off to the races. And that is a feature that I thought I was going to think was kind of dumb, but man, is that nice for backing up an 850 pound motorcycle. And there you have it. So what you get with a Gold Wing that you don't get with, well, Harley, you do get with Indian, is the power windscreen, and it makes a huge difference. Riding this morning on my way into the office, where it was pitch black outside, it's still pretty dark when I head into work in the morning, the light output on this bike was fine. So a couple things that I find a little bit surprising, that things I think that I thought I wouldn't like, that I actually don't mind at all. No floorboards on this bike, or footboards, whatever you want to call them. It is just pegs, kind of larger pegs, but still feels very comfortable. The seating position on this bike is very ergonomically correct. I feel like I'm kind of forced to sit in an upright position, which would be good on your back and really just good on your body for a long distance. Just a very commanding and comfortable riding position. I don't think they could make it any better, to be totally honest with you. The center of gravity on this bike is really low, which makes it super easy to throw around here. As a matter of fact, it's way more confidence inspiring to kind of lean this bike over than it is any of the touring bikes that I've ridden for Harley or Indian. It's really, really great. I mean, I couldn't say anything else about this bike other than riding impressions are really quite incredible. One of the things I find really cool with this is you can see the suspension actuating in front of you, which you do not feel any of at all, but when you can actually see how much that is actually moving, it's pretty wild to see how much this bike is actually working and how little you're actually feeling how much it's working. I did see, watch JR Go try to do the iron butt, actually did do the iron butt, and you know, complained about the seat a little bit. I could see that the seat is a little bit hard. I would imagine if you're going to be doing long riding for long distance that or long days, that you would want to change that, because I could see that getting tough on the old rear end. But now, as far as a DCT, I thought I was going to hate an automatic transmission motorcycle, not having this clutch. This is the first DCT that I have ever ridden, but I did just recently ride the Livewire, so I wasn't totally new to the idea of not having a clutch. But for some reason, I really didn't think I was going to like a gearbox, automatic gearbox on a motorcycle, but it's really nice. You know, am I ready to give up banging through gears, you know, red light to red light type of stuff? I love that a lot, actually, but I understand and appreciate why guys like these DCTs. I get it. I totally get it. It's very smooth. I have not had really any like jerky shifts at all. Much smoother than I really anticipated it to be. You can switch over here. I'm in manual mode now. It's pretty quick. Twisting this throttle, it has a lot of power to it, especially for being such a big bike. It's impressive, very impressive. Man, it just is so smooth through the RPMs. It feels very confident in its own ability. So here I have a little room. I'll get up and go with it. 4,000 RPM. Maybe a little bit over the speed limit, but let's see, 7 gears. So yeah, it's got 7 gears at 75 miles an hour right now. I'm just sitting at 2,500 RPM, which is a very nice cruising, you know, RPM. The bike doesn't feel like it's working too hard at all, actually, and yeah, just very, very nice. All in, guys. I mean, am I ready to go for a Gold Wing right now? No, I'm not, but I couldn't rule this out of something in the future at all. I think it would be an interesting bike to own. One of the things I told the guys at work today, they asked what I thought about it, and I said the funny thing about this motorcycle is I feel like it lacks character, but that lack of character is what defines its character. It's not a bad thing. It's almost like so refined that it has none of the nuances that you get from a Harley or an Indian that you know, try to be a little bit more rough and gruff, I guess you'd say. It's a good thing. If that's what you're looking for, it's a good thing. You know, again, I don't think I'm ready for this quite yet, but I've gained a ton of respect for the Gold Wing owners out there. I get it. It's impressive. Very impressive. I like the styling. You know, Honda did an amazing job retooling this motorcycle, making it cooler. My wife and a lot of people out there still look at these things and kind of look at them as an old man's bike. I do think the 2020 with the non-touring version without the trunk, blacked out with the red accents, is a step in the right direction for knocking the rest of the old off the bike. And even the touring version with the trunk, with everything all blacked out, white on black, it does it a lot more justice, making it not look just incredibly old. So yeah, I love this. To all the guys out there who talk about how they don't need any of this electronic stuff, I have a ton of respect for you guys and appreciate where you're coming from. My only argument to that is that these bikes have creeped so far up in price that in order to command those prices, which I'm okay with, I have no problem with motorcycles getting into the $25,000 to $30,000 range for these, full-size baggers with all the options. That's great. It's when you start removing all of this stuff but try to still command that same price that I start to feel as if the bike's just missing things. So all of these electronics suites that these bikes have, I just think are a necessity for them to continue commanding the prices that they do. And these companies have to stay in business, and pricing models and all that, it's super complex. So I'm not here to beat up all these manufacturers on pricing, but I am here to say that if you're going to command those prices, that all these little bells and whistles need to be there in order for these bikes to be successful, or the prices need to drop by $5,000, which they're not going to do that either. So yeah, guys, I have a little bit of a love affair going on with the Honda Gold Wing. Was not expecting this. I expected to like it, but I did not expect to really love almost every aspect of this motorcycle. It is awesome. Thank you very much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. I'll see you guys next time.